There we go.
Yay! I have both you lovely ladies here.
You too. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, really good.
That's good.
Thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's good. You know, it's kind of slow. I think it's what 10 a.m. for me. So it's like winding down time. But no, I'm really excited about this. I've been trying to like make your posters. So when people, thank you for the hearts. For people who can't really see it, I'm gonna actually show the live like Friday.
Okay.
So the full thing so people can watch it. But I'll just be promoting like different stuff on like Twitter and all your cool things and products and your best sellers that you provided. And so it just kind of builds a different traction since we were just like, yes, let's do it now. You also have an event coming up on the 26th, I think, yeah?
Yeah, we do.
Are you guys excited about it?
Yeah, it's going to be really good. We've got a makeup artist on board, Sarah, which is exciting. They get to come along, you get to have a drink on arrival, you get to mingle with people. Shanti's going to be our model for the day.
Okay, Shanti.
Yeah, so we'll be able to show the mattifying foundation in its all its glory and how amazing it really is. So we're really excited to be able to show that first case.
That is so exciting. I was telling my friends that I was interviewing you guys, and they're just like, can you ask them when they're coming to the U.S.? I'm like, I already asked. Like, I already asked. Just give them a minute, okay?
We'll get there.
But no, let's kind of dive into it. Kind of talk to me like basically to everybody like how you guys started, a little bit what we talked about a little bit in our Zoom call too. Just what the full-on message and your goals are.
Yeah, so at All Shades Matter Cosmetics, we really believe that all shades should matter. And here in Australia, we really struggled with getting a large variety of shades, especially the darker skin tones. And for Tali and I growing up, especially when we were teenagers and, experimenting with makeup and all that kind of stuff like our girlfriends were, we always felt like we were missing out and we're getting like the darkest shade possible. And there were names like caramel and sand and beige, and they just weren't doing the job. But at the time, we kind of just worked with what we had, and it was almost 2 years ago, and we decided in the middle of a pandemic, in our lounge room, that how is this still an issue? And we just decided to go, yep, let's do it. Instead of waiting for other people to do it, other companies to expand their range or to be even available in Australia, because we found that a lot of brands do have the range, but for some reason they don't think there's a demographic for it here. So we definitely missed out. So we thought, you know what, why not? Let's do it. And here we are 2 years on.
Well, that's awesome because, I think a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, I think that kind of like altered all our brains a little bit. And we started kind of like focusing on what the actual consumer needs are, because what we were thought as normal and like the day to day, you kind of just didn't see it because we were just like, doing what you typically do. And like, then you have to be at home. You're just like, yeah, this is a problem. So I think that's great. And how did that first like conversation between you two start?
I mean, well, actually, where you going? This is hard when we're not together, isn't it? I mean, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd had conversations for years because obviously we're both adopted and in the same like adoption group. So growing up here in Australia, I mean, we had the conversation multiple times of like, even though we've got an age difference, Shanti's a bit older than I am, we'd had that conversation of, going out with your friends, like, this is just not good enough. And like, we're not going to keep waiting for something to happen. And we had that conversation. 1 in the morning, we were sort of just having to play around with logo ideas and things. And then we thought, you know what? We're not going to keep waiting. Let's just do it. We're going to start something. And here we are today. And we've actually, been super successful in where we've been so far. And just getting the message out and having so many messages coming to us of other people sharing their stories of the same or similar to what we'd experienced, being like, finally, like even people, in their 50s plus being like, oh my God, I've waited 30, 40 years for this to happen. And finally something's here.
Yeah. And like, that's amazing. And I was on your website today and I was looking over different testimonials. And I remember when I was trying to find my shades, like I was telling you guys before, like summer and winter, you're two different people. So we all had like that awkward orange, reddish tone, like that hard line right here, because we still didn't know how to blend. It was a different type of blending. So I think that you guys definitely are onto something, because it really is hard. And unfortunately, we can't say it's hard, because it should be just like something that's automatically adaptable. Like if we're having like a product that we know like majority of women use, why can't everybody use it without buying like five to kind of blend together? But especially in Australia, because not a lot of people, like you said, would think like that's a demographic, but it really is. Like it's almost like a melting pot, to be honest with you. There's a lot of shades out there, and a lot of diversity. So I commend you guys on that. And talk to me more about this event on the 26th? Yeah.
Chance, or do you want me to go?
So on the 26th, we are hosting our first ever event. It was something Tali and I had kind of we had conversations about, and then we kind of went back and forward. And I think like anyone that's hosting an event like that, especially the first one, being like, oh, will anyone buy a ticket? And all those kind of thoughts go through your head. And we kind of put out a couple of stories and just said, who would be interested, and specifically in the Melbourne area, which is where we're from. But we want to make it fun, we want to make it casual, but we also want to make it really educational, both about makeup as a whole, why we have Sarah on board as well, but also about our products. So we've really targeted our product to the everyday person, but you know what, there's such a large amount of education that Sarah can bring to the table, which we really wanted to make a space for that, and especially for people of colour, because we think that there's a lot of misconceptions and we feel like people of colour are being blocked out a little bit. So we want to really keep that space open for us especially. But since advertising about it and marketing it, we've had a lot of people say, come to Sydney, come to Perth, come to Adelaide. So that's really, really awesome. Exciting. So yeah, so hopefully, we'll get this one done, and already we've sold, quite a few tickets. So that's really exciting. And from that, we'll be able to gauge where to next and how often we do it and all of that. So it's really exciting.
I know it's going to be huge. Like I've seen so many advertisements about it, and then also just seeing people on TikTok like reposting it. Have you checked like the stats of like how many times people reposted your event?
There's a lot going on,
right? It's insane, but that's great though. That is so great. And one thing that I also noticed about your products is like just like it's all cruelty free. Like for me, like for somebody with sensitive skin, I really do have to look at the products, and half the time I don't know what it means, so I have to do like the sensitivity test. Like when I get to like Sephora or Ulta, I'm like, if I like get a rash, I don't know if it's for me or not. Exactly. But you have really clean products, and I think sometimes that I feel like more brands now are starting to know like, hey, like we like wearing makeup, but we also want to heal our skin at the same time. Mm-hmm. So having those ingredients where you still look great without makeup, is helpful. So yeah. I want to touch base with you on that and see like what was your thought process, and how did you get from gluten-free and cruelty-free and all that good stuff?
Well, I mean, I think we had looked into so many foundations prior to making ours, and just the ingredients list. And obviously, as you just said, like when you go into a makeup store, half the time you look at the back of the ingredients and go, oh my God, I don't even know what that word says, and let alone pronouncing the word. And then we actually had to look into that. We worked with a cosmetic chemist with our manufacturer, and we just said, look, we really want to minimize what's in these foundation products, because there's some really nasty chemicals going into some of them. Yeah. And they're not good for your skin at all. Yes, they might, I don't know, give you a plumping effect or whatever, but they're actually deep down for your skin not very good. And personally, like both of us, we don't actually day-to-day wear that much makeup on a daily basis, and we just wanted a product that was more like a moisturizer. So we looked at ingredients like our vitamin E that we've got in it. We've got glycerin, we've got hyaluronic acid, so things that are actually good and nourishing for your skin. And I think like while people see, oh, your product's mattifying, is that going to dry my skin out because it's got a matte finish? Well, no. We've had so many comments being like, oh my God, it's matte, but it's actually super hydrating. So yes, both of us, I don't know, Shanti, sometimes you prefer sometimes wearing a glowy look, so you'll adapt it to make it dewy. But we preferred a product that was more matte, that you can build it up, you can put products on top of it, but then it also still hydrates your skin and doesn't dry your skin out.
And that's super important because know, after you wear it a couple of times, like throughout your day, like typically you're putting makeup on to last the whole day and do like minimum like touch up, because like if you have like oily T-zones, or you know, if it's just hot outside and that kind of speeds up the, the makeup process, be like just a little dab will do you. But and then like the longevity of wearing makeup every day, like it's not that great for your skin. So having those healthy products really matters, because after a period of time, you know, years, just think about like when your first makeup product was. Like, I think I was maybe at most, like when my mom knew about it, 16. Like we all had like the mascara in our backpacks trying to just in like high school and middle school. But like, you know, we started wearing makeup young, and after a while that does kind of deteriorate on your skin and ages you like quicker. So I think that's great. And
I think for us as well, like our brief was, if the ingredient didn't need to be in there, absolutely take it out. So as Tali touched on, there are some brands out there where the ingredients list takes up the whole back of the packaging, which is crazy to me, because if you actually went through and actually Googled each one of them, go, why is it in there? There's probably a quarter to a third of it that doesn't even need to be in there. And we didn't want to have just filler ingredients that's just going to be on your skin for absolutely no reason. So we wanted to create a product where it would just enhance what you already have. So whether you're wearing or whether you're not, you don't get that shock, oh, you're not wearing makeup type of thing. It was just something that just made you look, you know, just that step up. Because everyone wants to wear, you know, well, a lot of people want to wear makeup just to feel either put together or just for their day. It's not always a full glam look. So it's just taking you from, I've woken up, to let's get the errands done for the day type of thing.
Yeah, I know I put concealer as my best friend whenever I'm going to Target on the weekends, because I'm not trying to do a full face at all. But I think that's just great. And like I said, like we in the US are just like, you know, cheering you guys on, because, you know, eventually you're going to come over here too. Which also I have to add to that just a little bit. A lot of makeup brands, I do have to say, like, always say, oh my gosh, it's so hard to find like really good like products, because like you have to go through the ins and out. I'm like, honestly, if you want to put good quality, you know, product out to the world, you do take that time, regardless of how long it takes. You just can't shortcut it, because then, you know, it's just not going to end well. And I'm thankful. I haven't used it yet. I really love to, but I'm thankful that you guys took your time with it and actually did the negotiations, and then also, you know, research. And I think a lot of people, you know, we're moving into like a type of marketing style where people are doing their own research, either by word of mouth or actually taking the time to look it up. So I think that's great.
And Tali and I, like, neither of us have a beauty background, so we were really conscious about that. I have a logistics and retail background, and Tali is a former primary school teacher, but we really understood that the requirement that it needed to be here. So Google was your best friend, so we started from there. But we were able to find a manufacturer, and we were able to get really good mentoring through them, through our cosmetic chemists, through makeup artists, and we networked really, really well with that, because who not better to speak to the people that are already in the industry. And we brought our experience and where we believe, where we have been, where we are now, and where we should be. And together, that's how it came together.
And then can y'all touch base on a little bit on kind of like the pushback? Because I know that's like a huge thing over there, showing diversity, because that's not really what's promoted down there in a way. But like you guys are so revolutionary in that. And I just want to like see what the process was, and then like, getting somebody to actually help you, because sometimes, people are diversified, partially, but when it gets down to it and you're trying to push out a product, you do get a little bit more pushback than normal. So I would love to hear you guys' story about that.
Well, I think the initial pushback was that we voiced it. So I think everyone in their head partially thought, yeah, or they knew and they understood that there was an issue, but no one was talking about it.
Right.
So for us, we were like, okay, we've got part A where it's the products, and part B about educating and actually speaking up about it, because for whatever reason, I don't want to say it was taboo, but it was just something that was just lingering, that it needed that spotlight and it needed its own platform, essentially. So Tali and I decided that, like we said, like nothing was changing. Why not? So then we kind of put the two together. We had conversations with, like, we kind of started our page, and then, we grew quite quickly initially as well, and just about the conversation around makeup and the lack of diversity here in Australia. And then from there, a lot of people had come forward and telling us about their story. And it was evident really quickly that it was very similar to ours. So it wasn't just us. And then at that point, we realized that, yes, we need to bring this to life. So we continued that conversation and held that platform. There was pushback, maybe a little bit, probably a little bit around our name as well. I think that's probably one main thing that we found. Some people, I believe it comes down to perspective. And obviously there was the movement that happened in America in that same vicinity of time. So we had a little bit of pushback there. However, we were very honest and very clear about why we called the brand what we did. And there was nothing negative, and it had nothing to do with or in connection of the American movement either. But apart from that, we've had so much positive feedback and so many people going, what's next? What's the next product? When are you coming to our country? All that kind of stuff. So it's been really exciting to kind of address that, because it's a thing. And I think if you shy away from it, that's not good either, because people want to have those conversations. Because if we're thinking about it, chances are someone else is. And then if you don't talk about it, you end up in the same scenario. So our platform is about, diversity and inclusivity. So that's our first and foremost, our conversation about everything we do moving forward.
I think a pushback in terms of like production, though, of the actual product and things, from when we very first started our company, I would say, like, when we were contacting manufacturers and things around Australia, which another thing too, there's actually not that many that do color cosmetics in Australia. So it's quite specific. But I think one pushback a little bit for us was that because we're young women, I think some of the manufacturers, they didn't take us as seriously. Like, what are you guys doing? So we really, like, both of us held our heads strong and, were very firm with what we wanted and very clear. And, the manufacturers that we did end up working with, one of them was of color herself, which was really good, and she understood exactly what we were doing. But doesn't matter what gender you are, anyone can start a company like this, but you just have to stay strong and be, I guess, clear with what you want, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Yeah, like I feel like that's kind of hard, because especially like when you don't have, I wouldn't say just like-mindedness when it comes to like evolving diversity within business. And I was speaking to somebody about that, like starting La Niche and trying to get a trademark, and I had to keep explaining, like, this is the message that I want to put out. This is the business that I want to do with that. They're just like, okay, well, they didn't take me seriously until I started like paying for things.
Yeah.
And and it kind of like, it makes you kind of feel defeated a little bit, but also empowered at the same time. I don't know if that's me being stubborn, but I think it's just, I think that's just kind of like when you're able to be a pioneer in the forefront of changing the narrative of what's kind of been giving, it's like a catch-22. Like, you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days, but like, you're always going to be successful. And like I said, I appreciate you both for, making that movement and, keeping your head up, doing the research, because, having natural products nowadays is not that easy to come by, nor is it easy to make a mark within, saying all shades matter during the time of, um, Black Lives Matter, having that diversification, but also unity that is separate, if that makes sense, So you really just have to make sure like the narrative stays the same, but also like protecting your business, which is really hard to do. And I think you guys did it so seamlessly.
Which is exactly what we did, because we knew that there's always going to be people on two sides of a team, right? And we knew that, everything that we have done to date, we put all of it into it, our hearts, our souls, everything into it. And we knew that there would be people going, oh, you've only got 4 shades. Oh, that's your name. And, oh, this, there's a handful of things that are recurring. But we addressed it and dealt with it head on, because they're unfortunately not the people on our team, but they are going to be there, and we focus on the people that are giving us positive feedback and are on our team cheering for us, and then we just keep pushing with that, and that's why we've got as far as we have. Yeah,
I agree. I definitely agree. Also, I do have to say, you guys' branding is definitely different from the typical beauty standard, which I wanted to celebrate a little bit on that, because I do see men on your site to promote like different makeup, and we have everybody wearing makeup regardless of gender or social stereotypes, whatever, and you don't really see that. So I think what made you guys kind of go in that route of like adding men to like campaigns and also your website promoting high quality products for skincare as well as makeup?
Well, I mean, we already knew some men already that wore makeup, and it's the 21st century. I mean, I think there's so many people. I was a primary teacher of 7 years prior to what we're doing now, and even some of the year 5, 6s, there were boys as well then wanting to wear makeup too. So I think we're not going to limit ourselves to who can wear makeup, because anyone can wear makeup. Whatever age you are, whatever gender you are, it should be free for all, to be honest. And we wanted to just showcase that because, as we've just said, it's the 21st century. Why not include men in campaign shoots? And again, it's a product that has skincare benefits in it as well. So they can have both as well. I mean, my brother wanted to be part of it as well, but at the time he was a bit busy, but he was going to be part of it as well. So he just said as well, like, I love what you guys are doing. Like, why does it matter if there's men in your shoots as well? And it looks really good as well. Like, they looked beautiful in the shoots. The makeup looks stunning on them as well, but it just, exactly.
Do they have it on?
Yeah.
There's no blush hair brushing at all.
No, nothing.
I was like,
you don't see it. You really don't see it these days.
No, and I love that. I love that because it is hard. It's hard out here sometimes. I'm like, it's great. Like whenever you're on camera and it's just like, oh my gosh, okay, you really do have caked on, or you just have really good skin. You're just putting mascara on. God bless you. But for the rest of us, where you have like hyperpigmentation, or you have a blemish that happens when you're about to be in front of people.
Yeah,
I don't know why that happens, but it happens every time on the clock. But but no, I was looking at that and I was just like, editorial shoots or brands and stuff, when it comes to like the beauty industry, you do see diversification, but not like your core, that is your campaign. Like you don't see that a lot. Which I was just like, that's awesome, because everyone wears makeup. It's not just one
that's
like,
it's all shades. It's all shades and all genders. It's just like we stand for inclusivity, and obviously our niche is people of color, but it's inclusivity on everything. So people's ages, people's everything.
Backgrounds.
Everything.
Right.
That's, you know, backgrounds, everything. Like, and in Australia especially, like we live in such a multicultural country. So, and different cultures do wear makeup for their own celebrations and everything else. So if we can cater to that, I think we'll be really appreciative of that.
I think so too. And I was looking at your TikTok, and I was just like, there's so much support, and it's so relatable. And sometimes it is hard to find relatability. And I think, you know, coming from like the Rihanna standpoint, like she's relatable, she's, you know, expanded. And then you have like Lady Gaga in hers, where she's relatable, like somewhat, but she still kind of has like that, you know, that hot star behind her. And it's kind of like, you know, chic and stuff like that. But where I know my first makeup journey was literally either Walgreens or CVS. And I still find the best places and the best products there.
Yeah.
And it's not Ulta and Sephora, and I'm not like breaking the bank, but I still find like my favorite mascara there. I still find like the best concealer because they have not changed within 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybelline, please don't do that. but you know what I'm saying? But it's just like when you go to the stores, you know, it's kind of like pumped up a little bit. But when you're on the go, like especially for models, I know like sometimes you do have to stop at the CVS. Sometimes you do have to stop at the Walgreens or your corner store just to pick up like a good quality, you know, foundation, concealer, some mascara, just to fill in something real quick that can be like your staple. Because like when you do have to spend money on like the really nice stuff, you don't want to have to carry that around. Like what if your purse gets stolen?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, we just wanted really good quality, affordable products. That was our biggest thing. Because I mean, you know, we have brands, you know, higher end brands here, which is great, but that's not affordable for everyone. So, and also depending on how much or how often people wear makeup, if they're going through 1 or 3 bottles per month, it can get really pricey really quickly. So we were, so we're really aware of that as well. So that was one of our thoughts of when we created the product. We wanted it to be every day. You could chuck it in your purse and you could reapply it if needed. But it was really easy to kind of transport around with you as well.
And then I was researching the sample bundles that you guys offer. I love that idea because I can't stand test tubes, like those little things that are like in front of like the actual product. Like, oh, you can get the sample size when it's really like this big. And you're like, can I get like, put it in like a container? And you guys did that, and I was just like, I love that idea because I don't want to spend $50 for a sample where it's either not going to fit. So you created these little sample size, and I'm like, I love that idea. Like, is that why you did that? Because I commend you, because that was like my biggest concern. I was just like, I don't want to invest in something that huge where I'm just like, all right, no, it's the wrong shade.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly why we did it. And I mean, our little sample pots, they're 5 ml. And when people start to try, if you haven't already tried it, the mattifying foundation, a little goes a long way. So it's extremely generous for $8.50. So you'd be able to get a couple of full phases in there to really try the product out. And to be able to buy in a sample pack as well, where you get all 4 shades, a lot of makeup artists have really appreciated that as well. So they can have a play around with it, see how the formula is and all that kind of stuff. And then from there, you know, they can decide what shades, hopefully all of them, they can stock in their kit, which is really exciting.
Do you have them there, Shants? Do you have one?
I can. Give me 1 second.
The other thing I think why she gets that too is because our company is online at the moment.
Right.
And obviously it is tricky buying foundation online. We totally get that, and that's why we have our shade match form as well. But we also wanted to give people the opportunity to sample the foundation prior to buying the full size, as what Shanti just said, to just try it out, test the formulation, test how it wears during the day. And often, like as you said, going in store with those little sample things, you're also like, I don't want to touch what other people have touched either.
Like it's
gross.
a little off-putting when they're like, you can use a Q-tip. I'm like, how long does that Q-tip get out here? I'm like, I don't want to know. It's just germs. It's just germs. I don't want to do that. Like,
No.
I'll just, like, sometimes I'm the sucker buyer. Like, I don't want to ask any questions because either, like, I know the person is already done for the day, and I'm just like, all right, I know this is the wrong shade, so I'm just going to go where I know. Or they're just like, oh, yeah, we can put this all over, where I'm just like, I need this tested because I don't know what type of ingredients it is. And then, like, next thing you know, I like eczema or like a rash of just like irritation. I'm like, this is why I don't go here.
Exactly.
And the other reason why we wanted to bring out the samples was so then people can wear them and try them in natural lighting as well. Because a lot of lighting in stores, especially like our shopping centres, they're quite synthetic. They're either really light, really dark. It's just not that natural lighting where you can get a true indication of what is working. And chances are you don't really know within 10 minutes. So it gives you the opportunity to be able to wear it for the full day, compare it maybe with another shade at the same time. But this is our 5 ml
Look at that.
sample.
I love it.
Yes, so they're really cute. And then they will just have a sticker on the bottom of it of what it was called. But I will show you guys. This is shade 30 Fate, so it's one shade darker than what Tali wears. But just to show you the creaminess of that, and that
it's just,
you saw how much went on my hand, and it's
a little
just,
really long way.
wow.
It just spreads, but it's not cakey. Like I'm wearing obviously 10 Bliss at the moment. And then all I've got underneath that is just a moisturizer and my normal serums and setting spray. So it gives it a really beautiful shine. And
then it goes
glow,
on
I should say.
It's just like smooth. It like honestly, it looks like you were just putting skin on. Like I'm kind of disturbing to say, but it's like putting like lotion, you know? It's like smooth cream, you know?
Yeah, but it feels like that too. I mean, I feel like we've all kind of had products that we put on our skin and we've worn it all day. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like my face is sitting out here. Or like I'll have a little itch and I don't want to do it because I've got makeup all under my nail. And it's like, oh, do I have a white patch there now? Like, what do I do? So it just feels, it feels like I'm just not wearing anything at all. It's really nice.
I love that. And, you know, like I said, like we need more bundles and sample sizes because it is important. But I'm glad you demonstrated that because I was just like, sometimes creams can be like more of a dry cream instead of like a mousse. And that looks like that had like more of like a mousse soft texture to it, like almost whipped. So I'm like,
well, it is. Yeah. So
I love that.
That whipped and it won't fall out. But it's not thick. So I don't know how to explain that. It's mousse-like. There you go.
No, I mean, like, it's like, you know, you have like whipped cream or something. It's thick, but it's light. That's important.
It's an airy formulation, for sure.
Exactly. And I'm like, we all need that. So I'm still a strong advocate for you guys over here. So I'm just like, creating alert, like on your page. I'm just like, did they come to the U.S. yet? No, but I just love that. And you guys are consistently evolving of how like you're marketing. It's still very relatable. And then also it's revolutionary on its own right without being like everybody else, you know? Like looking at your packaging, looking at your, you know, just your containers. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's really nice because honestly, we're mostly paying for the containers depending on like the certain brand and the packaging, but it's very relatable and it does stand out on its own right. And I think that's wonderful because you put the main focus on the product instead of just saying like, hey, we spent like maybe $75 on the outside packaging, so we're going to bump this up to like almost $150 where it's like a crappy product, you know?
Which is one really good formulation. That's that, and we took so long to get that down packed. Almost, you know, well, 2 years it was, you know, going back and forth in the pandemic, but we weren't settling until we got exactly what our idea was, and that came to life. And when we got there, and the feedback we've had from it has been amazing. So until we expand our range, which will happen,
Yeah.
we'll just continue to grow.
Well, you can't not do it now.
Well, you will be, don't worry.
That's like, it's like a disservice. Like, yeah, it's impossible. Like, you two are just like women on the move. You can't stop now, so you just got to keep going. So on that, like, where do you guys see yourself? Like, I know long term is kind of like in the air because you really don't know when you're actually going to kick off. Like, anything can happen. Like, I always say each day is open to unlimited possibilities within the mind and the product and just the experience of the day. So you could just take off more into just like, even after this call, but where, I guess, mentally, where you should be like, okay, I officially made it. Like, what is your next, like, I officially made it moment with All Shades Matter?
Got so many things.
So many things. That's a big question. I think there's a lot of moving parts to that question, because you can say, once we reach X, we've made it, but then without X, you can't have Y and all that kind of thing. So it's one big moving piece. So I don't know. I think I don't know. It's a hard question. I mean, we just want to expand our range, the larger the better, and just be able to ship to as many places as possible. Yeah. And obviously they all come with their own little projects, because each country have different legalities and all of that. So it is a bit of a longer process. I mean, but we haven't shied away from that at all. Like, currently we also ship to New Zealand. So we did that within 6 months of us launching, which was really exciting. So yeah, we're just kind of looking at all the other opportunities at the moment.
Yeah, I think our biggest thing, though, obviously, is the shade range and expanding that, and then expanding overseas. But I think for us, we want to be, I guess, the go-to brand for people of color, specifically for foundation and like your basic products. But I think answering that question is a tricky one as well, because I think a lot of people go to, like, even the kids at school when I was teaching were like, oh my God, you're going to be a millionaire and this and that and the other. And it's like, yes, like, once you hit your million, super exciting. But at the same time, it's not about money to us. Our point of difference was having a product that people of color can finally go to straight away, and it's available, it's accessible, it's affordable, and also just, I guess, the education behind what we're doing and like where we started and why we started the company, our stories, our experiences. I think that's more invaluable than a dollar amount or a follower amount and stuff like that to us. Just have it public.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's that feeling to in a way eliminate the feeling of how we felt as kids.
Yeah,
to not be able to find your shade, to feel excluded, to feel like you weren't cool enough to wear it, to feel like you weren't part of the group of girls or getting their makeup done before they're going out, all that kind of stuff. And you can't put a dollar on that. So it's making people feel comfortable, and wherever they go, they can get their shade. They don't have to be going and spending hundreds of dollars on something. They can go into, your Chemist Warehouse or any kind of lower end drugstore or chemist and be okay. Or they can go into your Maya, Sephora, Mecca and be able to get that there too.
Yeah. And I think that's the best answer, because, sometimes even for me doing non-niche, like, it's still a baby, right? But I think every time I get on a call with somebody, I feel like I always, like, reach a huge milestone. Mind you, I don't have like thousands of followers. I don't have that. I just enjoy like getting to know people, and then creating a community where you can boost engagement and support one another, and be having awareness, because like we do have the technology, so we might as well use it in our benefit. And working with you guys, and I know for our first Zoom call was hilarious. I was so nervous. I was like, I couldn't sleep. I think it was like maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. for me. I don't want to miss it, because it was like time zone I'm still getting used to with everything, so everyone bear with me on that. But yeah, and I just, every time like I get to talk to you guys, and write different articles and promote you in a different way. I'm just like another hand, trying to push your product out, because I don't want people to be dependent on like, oh my gosh, like I have to pay like $100 to start promoting. I mean, like it does help, but like the algorithm, it's just like it's just a helping hand. Like reposting takes like 2 seconds. Commenting, engaging takes literally 2 seconds, so just to be part of that catalyst, and especially a part of you guys' journey, like honestly, I'm honored for you guys to, sit with me and talk to me about it, and especially on this platform, just to get your story out there, because one, your website's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I looked at it, I was just like, I was there for maybe like 30 minutes just reading. And I know it's just like paragraphs, but I was just like looking at the detail, looking at the photos. Like it's very easily to like find things, find the information. And it's not like coded with some extra slides or anything like that. And I think that also plays with the relatability of your brand. It's very straightforward. We get to see your story. We get to know a little bit about you guys. And it's not just like, you kind of let us into your mindset a little bit, which I think it also makes you very relatable. And the finding your big match help. You're going to have to talk a little bit more about that, because I was playing around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have to talk a little bit more.
Oh, she's dying over there.
Every time, hands down. I'm doing something important.
I was like, oh, we're losing her.
Every time, like without doubt. It's horrible.
I was like, oh,
Anyway.
No, but finding your shade match. Now, I've seen different ways of how people do it. Like you can upload a photo and then like you click a button and it's like, oh, is this your shade? It's hard to do that online, but I feel like you guys are a little bit different. So can you touch more a little bit how that process goes?
Yeah. We really wanted to minimal. Yeah, while Shanti's dying over there.
I'll let you take it. She's getting herself together.
We just wanted to make it much more minimalistic than what other forms are out there, because I mean, we had, before we started our brand, tried so many online that, well, like what you just said, the virtual try on ones, or the ones that are like millions of questions, and half the time when you do them over and over again, they give you inconsistent answers. Yeah. And we just thought, no, it's too hard basket. As you said, we're very straightforward with our company, and we just wanted a form that was straightforward as well. Like, tell us what brand you currently wear, what shade that is of the brand. Is it MAC NC44 or whatever? Do you go dark in summer? Because that's a common question for people of color. And then having a look at our brand, what shade do you think you will be? And then getting them to send a photo, natural lighting, no makeup. And then from there, we determine what is the best shade for them. And we'll be super honest. If it's not the right shade, we'll say, just wait to the next shade extension. Because we're never going to push a product just because for dollars. No way. We'll always be honest with people, and people always appreciate the feedback, and we'll reply and say, thank you so much. They can't wait as well, even if it doesn't suit them. But again, a form that is just simplified, 6 questions. You can do it in under 2 minutes. You can do it on your phone. Super easy.
And I think
I think one thing that we found with a lot of the generic brands, that it would be, they'd have their 6 or 7 questions about, what color are your veins, what color jewelry do you wear, all that kind of stuff. And I know there was an instance with a specific brand that I would do the same answers and I got a different response. So it begged the question of how accurate it was. Right. So for us, we're like, well, we want to bring the control back to us, simplify, and hear back from us directly. So who else better than the co-founders to know their product the best? So we give you, like as Tali said, a really honest answer. We're very real, upfront and honest that we have the 4 shades, and they're not going to suit everyone just yet. But wait, once we expand, and you'll still get that level of customer service, because we really pride ourselves on knowing our product and assisting our customer first and foremost.
Yeah, and you look at that jewellery thing. I'm wearing 2 different types right now. Like, I mean, I couldn't answer the question anyway.
I know, and it's just like, Like, you know, you're here, like you can even tell on my skin, like I have like tan here, but like on my neck I'm like more yellow down here naturally.
Yeah.
And then when you get to my hand, it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so it's just like we can play around with whatever shade you want, but it'll be nice to have a flow. But no, I think you guys are doing great, and you know, there's so many great things I know that you're working on, and your event, and you know, everything just happens so fast, and you know, and I appreciate you ladies for doing that. And I'm not in Australia. I want people to understand I'm not there. I just support from afar in the U.S., being like, I'll be ready when y'all come over here. I will be first in line and be like, I'm getting me a sample, okay? And I'm going to try this out. And then I'm going to purchase it. But no, you know, as entrepreneurial women, I think in this industry, it's so saturated, but also you've made a footprint where I think, you know, that 1 a.m. conversation you did not even expect to be this huge, you know? And I think sometimes, you know, the little steps forward where you still can't see, where you know, I don't know if you guys seen this movie, but it was like Santa Claus with like Tim Allen, where the little elves are just like, you know, believing is not seeing, it's, you know, or no, seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. Yeah. And a lot of that work is basically you just have to like have your own back, like with you, even with each other, like support each other through the rough times, like because you do have self-defeating thoughts where, you know, you're just like, oh gosh, this is so hard, I'm getting pushed back, or you're like you're hitting like your head on the wall on a lot of things and it's just not going forward. You really do have to have like a healthy mindset to believe in yourself to keep going, because even in your most successful times you do have those moments where you're just like, I don't know where we're going from here, but I know I have to keep going, and you can't even see the end game. Yeah. And I think you guys do that so effortlessly, and I just like I just want to say thank you. And if you can have any advice for any entrepreneurs going into something like the beauty business or cosmetics, you know the details, you know, just the trials, tribulations to be one in that industry, but also just to create it from scratch. Like, what is your best advice?
I would say, from my perspective at least, I would say stay in your own lane. Like, don't worry about what anybody else is doing on any outside surroundings, because there's always going to be people in your ear about everything and trying to, I guess, push you down or things like that. As Shanti said before, people in the comments, let them be, but there's always going to be someone that has an opinion, but don't ever let that get to you. You've got your dreams and your aspirations. Just keep going. And obviously research is super important. Have a business plan and make sure you back yourself the whole way through, and make sure you have a network and a community of people that understand exactly what you're doing. You've got that support network for the days where you do feel a bit down or you do feel a bit defeated, because our family and our friends have really been, and each other, the two of us together. I just went like this thinking that you're sitting right next to me.
It shows that you're right there, so it's just like it works.
Just having that support network is super important, because yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something, because once you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Anything is absolutely possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's being open to learning and not being scared to ask, because as we said, we don't have a beauty background. However, we know our why, we know our end goal, and we're so passionate and devoted to this brand and building it to the best we can, but we can't do that on our own. So to go, hey, I need help with X, Y, Z, and, you know, how the heck do I do this? And researching both on digitally, but also speaking with people in the industry, networking, all of that. So we never, ever have said, and we will never claim that we know everything, because no one ever does. But we know where we want to get to, and it's going to go. We're speaking to people that are 2-3 years ahead of us, or they're, 20 years ahead of us, and that's where we want to be. So you look up and keep pushing, and that's all we've ever really done.
I love that. And before Instagram kicks us off, because apparently it's an hour time limit, so out the other day. But no, I think that's great. And I want you guys to close off by promoting your event one more time for the new people that joined. And I appreciate everybody who joined. And again, I will be posting this this coming Friday. And I'm just going to be promoting you guys and promoting your event for the 26th. So talk a little bit more about that, and we can just seal it off. And I'm just so excited for you guys.
Us too. Chance, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You can go. All yours.
So if you are a person of colour from Melbourne and you're yet to try the Mattifying Foundation, next Sunday, the 26th, is the perfect day to come at the Avery Hotel, which is in Abbotsford. We've got an international pro makeup artist on board. You get to get professionally colour matched by her to our foundation. You get to see Shaanti being our model with the makeup artist showcasing the Mattifying Foundation in action. You get to have a drink, some food, you get discounts, and you also go in the draw to win a $100 voucher for dinner at the Avery, and also a makeup booking with the makeup artist herself. And what else? You get to mingle with like-minded people. I think that's a good thing about this event too. You get to just come along and have a chat with like-minded people. You can meet us, like, not super exciting, but you get to meet us as well. Like,
that's still exciting.
I think the main thing for us is just in that community and having like the conversations there where you can share each other's stories and things like that too.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah, that's exciting to meet you both too. Y'all rock stars. She created this. But where would they be going if y'all didn't make this? You know, like, not the Avery. So I think it's great. And like I said, you ladies are doing an awesome job. And I will always be like one of your top supporters from the U.S. Whenever y'all come, even when that time is. But online, I'll be here. And if you ever need anything, something to be like pushed out, or help promote to pump something up, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll share it on my page too. I'm just here to help and whatever I can do.
Thank you so much for holding the space and your platform for us. It's been really good to be able to chat to you and really see your perspective on a lot of things, and just, like we said, holding the space for new businesses and a platform for people to shine their light as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
thank you both.
Very much.
Thank you
as well, just from America as well. If anyone is watching from America, thank you so much for your support as well, and you'll see us soon.
Hey, you heard them. That's true. But no, and again, thank you all for joining. All shades matter. The evolving of the beauty cosmetics line, and as well as just people. So please go support. Please follow. Comment, engage. That also helps them out a lot too. Study, research. If you have any questions, they're so supportive and they'll answer so quickly. Their contact us line is effortless. For more information, I'll link down their at, as well as their handles, all of it. So thank you guys for joining me tonight and these lovely ladies, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, ladies, for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.